Welcome back to another episode of Stacking Dennys. I'm Jordan McAbee of RotoBaller. My co-host Nick Giffen of the Action Network. SVG puts on an absolutely dominating display at Sonoma, leading 97 of the 110 laps. Flips the stage in stage 2 and still ends up with the stage victory in an absolute league of his own right now when it comes to road courses. I think we can all agree on that. The debate now is whether he is the greatest road course racer already of all time in NASCAR. But Chase Briscoe, second best. He was running up front all day. He finished second. Chase Elliott, Michael McDowell come back after pitting. They finished third and fourth. Christopher Bell hangs on for a top 5 finish. Typical guys up front. Tyler Reddick, 6th. Ty Gibbs, 7th. William Byron, 8th. Joey Logano sneaks into the top 10 at the end of it after some late race chaos. Same with Kyle Busch. Finishes 10th after an awful start to the race for him. Looked like Carson Hocevar was going to have a good finish. He ended up finishing 32nd after getting dumped by Josh Berry. Ryan Blaney looked strong all day. He got, I don't want to say dumped, but him and Chris Buescher got into it a little bit, and Blaney ended up dead in the dirt. We had another NASCAR officiating issue with a tire coming off on Cody Ware as the broadcast was happening, and them taking their sweet time getting that caution thrown for that. And then, yeah, like I said, a lot of guys at the end of the race deciding not to pit late to get track position and then kind of just screwing up a lot of things, particularly Chris Buescher. Him and Zane Smith kind of got into it on the final restart. Buescher, who was looking like a top 5 finish, ended up finishing 16th. But, yeah, Nick, what do you think of that race and the domination by SVG for his 3rd win of the season, tied for the most in the Cup Series this year?
This might be a bit of a hot take, but I thought it was one of the best races of the season.
I love the tire fall off at Sonoma.
I thought this was one of the best races of the season. It had everything. It had, Blaney getting beached. We haven't seen that in Sonoma in a while, but it does happen from time to time. And that was based off pure hard racing, side by side with Chris Buescher. We saw, a little payback, Josh Berry to Hocevar. We saw tire fall off, comers and goers. And we saw the dominant driver win, which is what we want to see. If you could pass here, you could absolutely pass at Dover. People are like, oh, well, I hated the end because there was yellows. Racing happens. Sometimes there's yellows. That doesn't ruin the race just because there was a few yellows at the end. I thought it was fantastic. Chase Elliott's drive through the field at the end was awesome, right? He put on tires with about 14 to go, ended up finishing 3rd. And if he hadn't made a mistake, he may have finished 2nd or even had a chance to challenge SVG, especially if there was another green-white checkered. But I loved it. I thought it was one of the best races of the season. Absolute slam dunk of a race, especially for Sonoma, right? Like, Sonoma typically doesn't produce the most exciting races, but I thought it was one of the best Sonoma races I've ever seen for sure, and one of the better races on the season.
Yeah, and for a road course in the next gen, I think we're overlooking this. Like, these suck, and this was top notch. This was a great race.
I thought it was an awesome race.
They nailed the tire. Whatever happened to the, because Sonoma was just repaved recently. Whatever they've done to get that to where, the issue with Ty Gibbs and Brad Keselowski, that's a lot of the footage that's going around right now. But the one thing, so in addition to watching like how Ty Gibbs came into his pit stall, the one thing that I noticed in that video that I look at every single time is the tire coming off of Keselowski's car. That thing looks like it just ran at Darlington. That's how worn out that thing was, which, like you said, created amazing racing for a road course for that. And yeah, I mean, SVG is just so much.
We saw Ty Dillon bump Alex Bowman for a spot in the tournament in the last lap, but not dump in a bad way, like the bump and run, like the classic bump and run, very clean and legal. Bowman didn't even have an issue with it. I mean, he fist bumped him and said, good job, essentially, after the race. That was a perfectly clean move. And it was just, you could race there. And that's what we love to see. You could race, you could pass, you could race. You could do side by side a little bit, and I thought it was a really good race, and I thought it was even better because Josh Berry paid back Carson Hocevar over Martinsville a year ago.
So Hocevar's live stream, I like how he accepted it. He didn't bitch. He didn't complain. Like, he knows he has shit coming to him. Like, that's just how he is. Like, and that's what I respect about him is. If you're going to give it, you have to be able to take it. And yeah, he took that for what it was worth. And yeah. But yeah, I thought it was a really good race. And I know, like, I don't understand people that are complaining about SVG's dominance. Like I said, he is ridiculously better than everybody else right now. It's not close. And the one thing that people like to also complain about during weeks where we get these surprise winners or we get a late race caution and someone that only led 3 laps wins a race is that the fastest guy didn't win the race. You know what? The fastest fucking guy won this race. So why are people still bitching?
Exactly.
Like
completely agree.
The fastest guy won this race, and it wasn't close. And you know what?
This was classic fucking NASCAR racing, and it was awesome. It was so good. And I thought I was in the majority enjoying this race. I watched it from a bar after the IndyCar race, so I didn't really have sound. So I was just watching, and it was, you don't have any commentary to kind of bias you or anything like that. Just watching the racing, so good. I thought it was so good.
Yeah, I thought I was in the majority if I was going to come on here and say that was a good just race overall. Like that, it was. I'd take that over most other road course races we've seen with this car. I thought that was top notch.
Absolutely.
So, we went into that race thinking the potential of maybe, we get a different winner. Maybe we get like an AJ Allmendinger who in practice and qualifying looked amazing, loved his car, and then did typical AJ Allmendinger things at Sonoma and just can't keep the rear tires on the car. It seems to happen every single time. Ended up finishing 18th, but the playoff bubble does not change very much. We saw Bubba Wallace stay out, finish, I think, 3rd and 4th in the 2 stages. He's now 3 points above the cut line. Priest is 3 points below the cut line. Bowman's plus 32. Buscher's plus 34. Obviously, we're not on to the standings yet, but we saw what we expected with the stages and what guys were going to do. We talked about it on the episode last week.
Sort of. I mean, I was shocked that Priest did some stage flipping because, he finished 12th and Bubba finished 26th, and Bubba gained a point on Priest.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, let me rephrase that. Someone like a Bubba Wallace is kind of what I was just going there for. Like,
I was surprised Priest did the stage flipping. Very surprised.
Were you surprised? I know you had to be surprised that Chastain flipped this first stage.
Didn't
to go out for the playoff point. Didn't flip. Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry.
No, I wasn't too surprised about that. I think getting the playoff point made a lot of sense for a guy like him.
See, I thought he had one of the better cars there last weekend. Because he was running I think he was running 7th there.
Yeah.
When he decided to do that.
Yeah,
but in the grand scheme of things, it absolutely
you're right. He
makes
was
sense.
running 7th, but he started 4th or 5th or something. So he actually was falling backward from where he started. So maybe they determined the car wasn't as good as they thought. Let's grab the playoff point since we don't really have a shot at the win. But yeah, I mean, Priest got 0 stage points, whereas Bubba Wallace got 15, and that allowed Bubba Wallace to actually gain a point on Ryan Priest. So the thing is, Ryan Priest was running ahead of Bubba Wallace in both stages, and he would have finished ahead of Bubba Wallace in the race. So why didn't he just do the Bubba Wallace strategy, finish 2nd in stage 1 or 3rd in stage 1 or whatever it would have been? He actually may have finished 2nd because he probably would have been ahead of SVG because he was so much farther ahead of Bubba, and then finish, 4th or 3rd or whatever it was, 2nd, maybe even 1st in stage 2, and then still finish ahead of Bubba Wallace in the race. He would have gained 8-10 points on Bubba Wallace at least, and now he'd be inside the playoff picture instead of outside the playoff picture. Didn't understand the strategy from the number 60 team.
I think that might be an RFK thing because all 3 teams have had weird strategy decisions all season long.
Mm-hmm.
Like this isn't the first time, so maybe it is. Maybe it's just an RFK thing.
Maybe they just think they need. Maybe they just think they need wins from all their drivers.
Yeah, that could be it too. Maybe they're just banking on, we're like this cut line doesn't actually exist. It's moving up at least 1, and we're 32 points behind Bowman, 35.
Mm-hmm. Which is fair, but you also kind of have to play what's dealt to you. What if we don't get any new winners?
Yeah, correct. But yeah, so SVG 3 wins on the year, another road course win. We got Watkins Glen coming up. He's obviously going to be the heavy favorite there. When we go there, and let's see, he did get beat in the Xfinity race though. Connor Zilish got him from completing the second weekend sweep in a while. But I think most NASCAR fans are glad that we're getting away from road courses for a little bit before we get back to Watkins Glen here in about a month. Other takeaways from this race, I mentioned Riley Herbst on the pod last week. He was legitimate. He wasn't as bad as he normally is. I think he legitimately had top 10 speed. That one Twitter account that does the median lap times for each driver, he would have finished 10th.
Yeah, if you look at if you look at the other, that was not the median lap time. That was the optimal lap model that they use. If you use the median lap time, he wasn't even a top 15 car or whatever. I think he responded to his own thing.
Did he?
Analytics,
I might have misread the tweet.
Auto racing analytics. So here, I'll pull it up. Had the entire 110 laps at Sonoma been based on the optimal lap model, theoretically, this is where they would have finished. So SVG 1, then Ross 2, Elliott 3, Bell 4, Kyle Busch 5, Byron 6, 7 is Ty Gibbs, 8, the 19 of Chase Briscoe, which makes no sense. Why would Chase Briscoe be 8th, right? And then 9th, Riley Herbst. And then he replied right below that, had the entire 110 laps at Sonoma based on the median lap speed, which makes a lot more sense than his weird little optimal lap model. It would have been 1 SVG, 2 Chase Briscoe, 3 Bell, 4 Byron, something that sounds a lot more makes sense. 5 Buescher, 6 Elliott, and Riley Herbst wouldn't even have been on the lead lap. And there was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cars that would have finished on the lead lap.
Okay. But he wasn't
bad. I'm just saying he wasn't a top 10 car.
Right. Yeah, no, I completely misread that.
So his optimal lap model is if you were able to piece together the optimal lap and use that the whole race based off what they did in the race. But Riley Herbst is not good enough to run an optimal lap
every lap. Yep. Yeah, for sure. Let me see here. Any other Catherine Legg, 31st place finish.
Yep.
Steadily improved throughout the race.
Again, not the slowest driver in the race. Cody Ware, his fastest lap was slower than Catherine Legg's fastest lap. So 2 races in a row where Catherine Legg has not been the slowest driver in the race. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Considering her equipment is inferior to Rick Ware's equipment.
Yes.
BJ McLeod equipment is a step down from Rick Ware equipment.
Yes. Let me see here. Stenhouse looked like he was going to have a good race going. Then he got into the tire barriers there late.
Yep.
Other than that, I don't think there's a lot from Sonoma.
I don't know if it was this podcast or Running Hot, but I think people just penciled Alex Bowman through, and I was the one saying, Ty Dillon's finished 23rd here each of the last 2 races, and Bowman's finished 15th here each of the last 2 races. It's not a slam dunk, and they're right next to each other in the final lap. So shout outs to Ty Dillon for being the giant killer in this tournament, making the Cinderella run.
Yeah, I loved seeing that.
And now we're coming to a very good track for him.
Yeah. So I liked seeing that. I like the drama. I kind of wish there was more drama around it. Like when it's Ty Dillon, it's a cool story and it's kind of like an afterthought for people to mention, but I think it's awesome that Ty Dillon is in the Final Four. Should have a decent chance of beating John Hunter Nemechek and get to the finals. So
I said, I did a lot of Dover stuff. You and I were talking before we went live. I did a lot of Dover stuff, and I don't want to get ahead to Dover, right? But since we're talking takeaways from Sonoma, and now he's facing John Hunter at Dover, they're neck and neck with each other in my model. They're literally right next to each other in top 10%, top 5%, win percent. So you kind of got to assume that kind of DNF percent, so you got to kind of assume that cascades through. Now, I do have John Hunter as the favorite, but Ty Dillon is literally, if you list the drivers in order, is literally the next driver after John Hunter. So this is basically a toss-up between these two, according to my model, slightly favoring John Hunter Nemechek.
And yeah, I mean, obviously, I think a lot of people are going to be rooting for Ty Dillon to not only make it to the final, but win the whole damn thing. He did mention, if he won, how big that would be for that team. and everything. And like everybody likes rooting for the underdog story. You know, it's hard to tell what NASCAR will do with this in-season challenge, whether it'll continue next year. I'm assuming because of how this played out, they're going to make some tweaks, but it's been a decently fun thing to watch. And like I said, you know, seeing him bump Bowman and actually be racing for, like, they're racing for 17th and 18th, and we're seeing people like actually race. I think that's kind of what this in-season challenge was also meant to do, was increase the actual racing within the middle of this season, where people kind of, I don't want to say give up, but drivers tend to, you know, it's the summer months. They don't really care quite as much. We're not in the playoffs. The guys that are locked in, they have their spot, and then it's just kind of the other guys fighting. So it just adds a spiciness, I would say, to this you know, mid-season lull in a way.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I actually have the Nemechek Ty Dillon matchup closer than the Reddick Ty Gibbs matchup, but BetMGM has Reddick Gibbs closer than Nemechek Ty Dillon.
Who, I'm assuming, do you have Reddick favored in that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Look at these fucking horrible odds, though. Minus 140 and minus 105. Just robbery. So hard to bet those, but I will say I haven't run the full head-to-head sims yet between Nemechek and Gibbs, but I wouldn't be surprised. Or sorry, between Nemechek and Dillon, but I wouldn't be surprised if I had value on Dillon at plus 110.
Yeah. And you and I both are rooting for Ty Gibbs, unfortunately, with our 50-1 tickets to win this in-season challenge. So
unless we get a damn cash out offer, but honestly, this is probably the part where I'll just end up, you know, trying to hedge by getting Tyler Reddick at the best price that I can.
Yeah. And
if Gibbs beats Tyler Reddick, doing the same thing in the finals and bet sizing it right, so I can, you know, guarantee. I think I put like 50 something bucks on it at 50-1, so it's like a $2,500 profit. So sizing it right, so I can still get at least $1,000 profit no matter how I do this.
Yep, smart. Anything else from Sonoma?
Trying to think. Not really. Yeah, I'm just looking through. I don't see too much that I have here, other than shout outs to Josh Berry for finishing 13th. He's not known as a road course racer, and Speedway Steve 2 on Twitter took down the 100K on DK with Josh Berry in his lineup at 3.5%.
Yeah, Josh Berry's always been one of those guys, like, especially with him qualifying 25th. I'm like, no, there's no way I'm playing him.
Yeah,
you know, and I mean, you know, that just goes to show you, you know, even there are certain times you have to go with some of those ones that, you know, when we get situations like that where teams can take strategy advantages at the end, everything just has to come together right. And that's how you get, you know, Josh Berry finishing 13th.
Yep, exactly. So thought that was a shrewd move at 3.5%. So nice job. Obviously I didn't really do anything because I was on vacation. So I had no opinions on DFS, no opinions on betting. Whatever I did, you know, last week on stacking Dennys and running hot was all I did for NASCAR. Made half a unit on NASCAR. So, and then I didn't bet the second Indy race because the first race, you know, books get to have 275 laps to evaluate things, and then it becomes a lot harder to beat the books. So I didn't bet at all for the Sunday IndyCar race of the second of the doubleheader. But the first one I hit Pato Award, tracked it at 6-1. I bet it at 7-1, but my bet moved it to 6.5 or 6-1. By the time I was able to track it, it was already 6. But got Pato Award 6-1 and cleaned up on Grid Rival once again. So just, man, I know the beginning of the season sucked, but I felt like I was sharp, like really sharp at the beginning of the season, especially in NASCAR. Like sucked. Like IndyCar was fine. I've been super profitable all season on IndyCar, but beginning of the NASCAR season sucked because I was having a lot of things happen where, like, Gyro dominate and then, lose the race in the last lap or something, or finish second and third with 20-1 drivers, but been fucking crushing the last 2 months now. So really, really stoked about that.
Yeah. I'm in your, unlucky hellhole right now. And you know what I do when I get in like one of these moments is I just take a step back and like, I'm only hitting stuff that I really like.
Yep.
Like as opposed to, and so what I really liked after qualifying in practice, or maybe it was before, it was after, was Ryan Blaney top 10 at, I think it was plus 150 or plus 200.
Yeah.
And what happens? He
ends
up fucking in the desert.
In the beach as running, competing for a top 5 or 6 or 7,
Yeah. I mean, he had top 5 speed all fucking day. And I'm like, as soon as that happened, I'm like, this is my luck right now. And I just have to take the bumps while I can. And
actually, I was on that Blaney bet with you, so that was one of my losers. But thankfully, I hit Chase Elliott top 5 to kind of salvage the day, and I hit my head-to-head parlay from the tournament. So I ended up plus half a unit on NASCAR. So you take the positive days. And so out of the last 8 weeks, I've been positive 7 of the last 8 weeks in NASCAR.
That's solid.
And of course, I get called out on the 1 week I'm minus. My Action Network Discord gives me a shit fit about it. So
when you ask for a bet from me after practice and qualifying, I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, do you really want this? I think maybe bet the opposite.
Yes, I did. I tailed you on it because I believed in it too. Like I wouldn't have tailed you blindly, but I believed in it too with Ryan Blaney.
Yeah. But all right, getting to the point standings. William Byron is still the leader, 14 points now over Chase Elliott. Byron finally gets a decent finish at Sonoma. He's been a little struggly here during the summer, but he gets an 8th place finish, maintains his point lead. Like I said, 14 points over Chase Elliott. Larson now 44 behind. Tyler Reddick slides up a spot into 4th. He's 53 points back. Denny Hamlin 62. Very minor changes overall. Alex Bowman falls 2 spots in the points with his 19th place finish. He's still a solid 30-something to the good. Ty Gibbs moves up to 17th in points. Looking at the playoff picture here, Gibbs is 60 points behind the cut line right now. Kyle Busch is 37. They talked about this on the broadcast. I know you said you weren't able to hear it. But someone like a Kyle Busch, they mentioned, could potentially race his way into the playoffs this year. And maybe even Ty Gibbs. He's not as far back as Keselowski's 136 points back.
Ty Gibbs has had a really good run of results compared to what he had earlier in the year, right?
Yes.
Ty Gibbs' last 6 results, 3rd, 11th, 14th, 2nd, and 7th. That's very good.
And Dover's a pretty good track for him.
He's gone from the back half of the 20s to 17th in the points, just in terms of like raw points, not counting like wins and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, Dover's a good track for him. If somehow, Bubba Wallace, Ryan Preece, and Kyle Busch get taken out in the same wreck this weekend and Gibbs finishes top 10, boom, he's right there within 20, 30 points of the cut line. That's all it takes is 1 week. We still got Daytona. We still got Watkins Glen, which is another good track for Ty Gibbs, being a road course. So something to keep an eye on there. Ty Gibbs could potentially sneak his way in if the cut line stays where it is. But as of now, we got 12 drivers locked in. Tyler Reddick's plus 149 on the bubble. I don't see him losing that, even if he has a catastrophic rest of the regular season. Chris Buescher plus 34, Alex Bowman plus 32. Then we got Bubba plus 3. He's in. Ryan Preece is minus 3. And then we got Kyle Busch minus 37, Allmendinger minus 50, Gibbs minus 60, Eric Jones minus 68.
Why couldn't he lose one more point?
Right?
Come on, Eric Jones. And then we have McDowell minus 70. Come on. Just YouTube swap 1 point.
This is another thing I want to bring up. I forgot. Talking about Sonoma. Why didn't in that final pit stop, when SVG did not pit, why did not every single front runner pit?
Right.
I don't get it.
You're not going to beat SVG on equal tires.
Exactly. It's not possible. Like, so who was it? Briscoe stayed out.
And that's the
McDowell
thing,
was on that
especially
weird
somebody like
strategy.
Briscoe, because he's already locked in with a win.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you may as well sacrifice your chances to try to get the win there. Now, maybe they thought a bunch of drivers would stay out, and a bunch did, but it was a lot of them were back
12
markers. A lot of them were back markers, like Eric Jones or whoever the fuck stayed out and wasn't very good. Like there's a bunch of garbage drivers or cars, not drivers. Like Zane Smith's not a garbage driver, but he was on old tires and he's not that great at Sonoma, I guess. It's like these guys stayed out. You can pass them easily. So be the first on your strategy. And Chase Briscoe would have been if he had come in and pitted and taken 4 tires. He was better than Chase Elliott all day, and Chase Elliott finished 3rd. Briscoe would have given himself a chance to win if he had come in and pit.
Yeah, I know I saw quite a few tweets about that as well. Just it's irritating. That's the only way you're beating SVG.
If you were a contender and SVG stayed out and there's 14 laps to go, 15 laps to go when the pit's opened, you pit.
Mm-hmm. I just don't understand that mindset by the crew chiefs, just being like, we're fine with running second.
I loved that Elliott pit because I had him top Chevy as well, so I needed him to beat SVG for top Chevy. He didn't, but he gave himself a damn chance. He wouldn't have at all.
Shout out to Alan Gustafson for making a good call. We don't see a lot of
yes. Good call.
But yeah, like I said, the playoff bubble really remained relatively unchanged. After Sonoma, we have 6 races to go until these playoffs are set. Dover this weekend. You have any takeaways from the point standings as they are?
Not really.
Tyler Reddick sitting 4th in points, and he has 1 playoff point.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, I guess.
And only 8 top 10s.
SVG's 3rd in playoff points, right?
Yeah, I wanted to do the math, just kind of like do some sloppy math because a lot of people are now talking, SVG could make it to the second round and potentially could get to the 3rd round. Like, yes, there's a path, but I think for the most part, if he just runs his normal in the playoffs, like he's gonna. These playoff points aren't going to matter for him. What it does,
especially because we haven't added in the regular season playoff points.
Yes,
right. Like all of a sudden, if William Byron is done here, he's going to have 27 playoff points to SVG's 17.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what it does is it's taking all these playoff points away from legitimate contenders and tightening the field, which is going to create value on some of those mid-tier guys that won't have to do as much to knock out someone like Kyle Larson.
Yeah, all of a sudden your Bubba Wallace's, or if he makes the playoffs, or a Ross Chastain or a Chase Briscoe, Alex Bowman, those kinds of guys, if they make the playoffs, are closer to a Chase Elliott or a Tyler Reddick, or ahead of them even going into the playoffs.
Yeah. And if Logano gets another win, like someone like Joey Logano isn't going to be that far off on playoff point. Like, I hate to say it, but he's not going to be that far off on playoff points.
I know.
He has 7 right now. He gets another win. That's at least 12.
Yep. 100% right.
So I don't know. Like, I think what this SVG domination does is it also just tightens up the playoff field overall.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't think it puts him as, he may be able to sneak by and there's a path for it, but overall it's tightening everything up, and it's allowing, or it's not going to let any of these guys have a bad round. It's going to make it even less likely for them to advance if they have a bad round. So people can hate it all they want, but they're also not looking at, like, they can say that SVG is a wasted spot in the playoffs. I don't care. Like, I don't think it is, especially, I mean, with this format, it clearly isn't. I think he clearly deserves to be in the playoffs with 3 wins, but they're also not looking at that aspect of it and how it's affecting everything else down the line. Trickle down point standings, if you would.
Exactly. Trickle down points. I like that. No, it's an important point.
Trademark that.
It's an important point. it brings the rest of the field closer together because SVG has taken wins that, if you take him out of the picture, let's remove him. Then Christopher Bell has a win at Mexico City. Ty Gibbs has a win and puts him in the playoffs at Chicago, and Chase Briscoe has a win. So that elevates Chase Briscoe. That elevates Christopher Bell in the playoff point standings and also in the regular season standings a little bit. So that, starts to separate somebody like a Christopher Bell from somebody like a Joey Logano or an Alex Bowman or these guys that we talked about. So I think especially the Christopher Bell types got hurt by SVG being in the series. And I'm not saying SVG doesn't deserve to be in playoffs or doesn't deserve whatever. I'm just saying it hurts a guy like Christopher Bell.
Yeah. It definitely makes it more interesting. But with his win, SVG is above Brad Keselowski in points. We can give him that. We can give him those props. He's above Austin Dillon. He's above Daniel Suarez.
His teammate.
Yep. Above Todd Gilliland. So it'll be interesting to see if he's able to continue to improve on intermediates. And what he'll be able to do. But definitely the talk of NASCAR right now is Shane van Gisbergen and his wins, dominating efforts. But anything else from these point standings for you before we look at, well, we talked about the in-season challenge. We can talk about it a little bit more, though.
Yeah, I think we should go on to the in-season challenge.
Yeah, so Final Four, as everyone expected. Ty Dillon and John Hunter Nemechek in the left-hand side of the bracket, beating guys like Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell, Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin. Tyler Reddick and Ty Gibbs on the right side of the bracket, which I think a lot of people, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people got to that with their brackets.
I had Reddick and Cindric, but that bottom right could have been Buescher, could have been Ty Gibbs, it literally could have been any of them because we talked about that bottom right bracket. They were all good road course racers. And drafting tracks are drafting tracks. So that whole bottom right could have come out of there, whether it was Haley or Allmendinger or McDowell, any of them could have come out there. I think, Tyler Reddick, a lot of people had, I know a lot of people had Larson or Blaney or Byron. That was like the group of death, right? In the same quadrant you have Reddick, Larson, Blaney, and Byron. I mean, 4 of the top 6 drivers, I think, this year. 4 of the top 7 in points, but probably, maybe 4 of the top 7 in speed as well. But that bottom right was wide open because that top right was so stacked. And Ty Gibbs coming out of there is not a surprise whatsoever. So I think there's a lot of people that had Reddick Gibbs. But almost, I would be shocked if anybody had Ty Dillon versus John Hunter Nemechek on the other side.
No, maybe one of them, like maybe a Ty Dillon or a John Hunter Nemechek fan had one of them in the Final Four. But there's no way that there's a bracket out there that was filled out before this thing started with Ty Dillon and John Hunter Nemechek.
By the way, I'm proposing we change John Hunter Nemechek's name to John Huntai Nemechek, so we have Ty, and Tyler.
That's funny. Yeah, three ties in the final 3.
Yeah. But like I said, I have JHN and Ty Dillon very close this week. I have Tyler Reddick a little further ahead of Ty Gibbs, but you could adjust a little bit for Ty Gibbs' recent form and get them kind of close. And I mentioned MGM has Tyler Reddick minus 140, Ty Gibbs minus 105. Well, DraftKings has Tyler Reddick minus 150, but Ty Gibbs plus 110. So there's a plus 110 on Ty Gibbs and there's a plus 110 on Ty Dillon out there because DK has minus 130, minus 105 on Hunter Nemechek and Ty Dillon. So make sure you're shopping around if you're trying to bet these matchups.
Yep.
Definitely different books have different prices on them, but kudos to DraftKings and BetMGM for being, I think, the only 2 books that have posted every single matchup for the tournament. I know Caesars has not. I know FanDuel is not. I know ESPN is not. Trying to think of what other books. Oh, Bet365. I need to check them out. I know they have up to this point. I don't know if they have They have it listed under their like full season thing, in-season tournament. Yeah, they have to win outright. And they have race matchups. Yeah, so Bet365 is the other one that has posted every single one. And Bet365 is -140 on JHN, +110 on Ty Dillon, and +100 on Ty Gibbs, -130 on Tyler Reddick.
I think that one, yeah, I'm with you. I think Gibbs is going to have a chance. Like, just, I think the books are kind of overvaluing Reddick this week. Speaking of Reddick, 2311 in FRM, Reddick could potentially be a free agent or able to look elsewhere.
Yeah.
Contract in his, or language in his contract says if he's not in a chartered car, he does not have to stick to this contract. The last I heard on that whole thing was that NASCAR can take their charters if they want, and they could sell them, which would lower the payouts for 2311 and FRM. So something to keep an eye on there. I like, silly season could get really weird if that happens and then Reddick decides he's going to jump ship and go somewhere.
Yep.
Also, did you hear the rumor about Penske?
What rumor about Penske?
So there was a rumor going around last week, and it was like, there's a driver in the Xfinity Series right now that does not drive a Ford that has an exclusive Penske contract for Cup. And then, like, the whole thing was, you'll never guess who it is. Well, then it finally came out. I saw it. I forget where I saw it last night. Carson Kvapil is who it supposedly is that has the Penske contract for Cup.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
He's
just another little silly season thing to throw in on this year, next year, sometime.
There's a whole lot of silly season that's about to happen, but it hasn't happened yet. And I'm not even talking the Daniel Suarez thing. Daniel Suarez thing is not silly season. Like we talked about that earlier.
Expected. Yeah.
That's not even news. That's not even like anything that has like domino effects. But there's going to be a whole bunch coming in NASCAR, and there's going to be a whole bunch coming in IndyCar. We might be in for, I said this last year, we were in for a crazy silly season. We had it. We could be in for another crazy silly season in both series again this year.
Mm-hmm. And I always root for chaos.
I wouldn't be surprised with all sorts of things in both Cup and Xfinity or IndyCar.
But yeah,
I think
that.
What about in-season tournament winner? Right? Like,
who do I think it's going to be?
Well, no. Like, just betting wise, you have Tyler Reddick and Ty Gibbs. They're the two favorites, but guaranteed one of John Hunter Nemechek or Ty Dillon will be in the finals, and they're +375 and +550 at Bet365 to win the thing. It's kind of wild to know you can have a driver in the finals guaranteed at either +375 or +550.
Especially, so it ends at Indy. I mean, we've seen it doesn't take a lot to blow an engine at Indy.
No.
Or to wreck at Indy. I mean, we've seen. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I could bet. I'm guessing it's Ty Dillon. That's +550 to win.
Yeah, he's +650 at BetMGM, by the way.
I could see myself putting a little bit on that just to have something to root for.
Like I said, I have him basically a coin flip versus John Hunter Nemechek. And then all you need is something to happen to Reddick or Gibbs. You know?
Yeah. Which isn't out of this world.
Which is how Ty Dillon's gotten here anyway. Something happened to Hamlin in Atlanta. Something happened to Brad Keselowski at the next road course, Chicago. He beat Alex Bowman straight up at Sonoma. But he could beat John Hunter Nemechek straight up at Dover, as I talked about. And then all that has to happen is something happens to Tyler Reddick or Ty Gibbs. You know, there's a 15% chance of that maybe. So it's not great. So maybe a 7% chance to 10% chance to win this tournament, I think is about fair. So it's pretty hard to bet him at plus 650. But like, the point is, it's not impossible. And you don't have to have a major incident, right? I'm saying 15% is a major incident for Reddick or Gibbs. So you could have something minor happen, which I don't count as a major incident, another 15% of the time. And all of a sudden you're talking, okay, 30% of the time he beats Reddick or Gibbs. And he's 50-50 versus John Hunter Nemechek. He's like 15% to win this tournament.
And that's the thing about Indy is it's such a big track. It's not like Ty Gibbs is going to be multiple laps down.
No.
So, a loose wheel
Dillon
on the final run.
Yeah.
Ty Dillon, yeah. But a loose wheel on the final run, and all of a sudden
pit penalty, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of just Ty Dillon's MO is they don't make mistakes. Yeah, he's not going to beat these guys on speed. There's no chance of that. But they don't make mistakes, and they're there at the end. So yeah, I could see myself betting Ty Dillon plus 650 to win this. I wish I don't remember when he opened at the very start of this. I want to say it was like 250 to 1 or something.
Let me just remind you, Ty Dillon finished 19th at Indy last year. Now, it was an RCR car. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. It was an RCR car. But he finished 14th in Germain Racing the last time he raced at Indy in a non-RCR car. On the Indy Oval, right? I mean, because we had some road course years.
Right. He's never finished worse than 21st at Indy.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say. And then before that, he was 13th with Germain Racing and then 21st. So, I mean.
And then 19th before that.
19th. Yep. Like,
wow.
Indy's a good track for him.
God, I'm gonna end up being a Ty Dillon fan these next 2 weeks.
He won Indy in the Xfinity Series. His only Xfinity win.
Yeah, I'm going to end up being a Ty Dillon fan.
Literally 2 of his best tracks are Dover and Indy.
Outside, I give Gibbs gets to the final. Obviously, I'm a Gibbs fan, but
sure.
Huh.
But yeah, then you have a really nice hedge opportunity with Ty Dillon.
Oh yeah.
I mean, me too, right? I have it too, but yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, this will be a fun final 2 weeks of the in-season tournament. Like I said, I hope now that we're the final 4 that they can kind of make a bigger deal about this, because I mean it's good for these small teams. It's good for Ty Dillon, it's good for John Hunter Nemechek, and then Reddick and Gibbs. It's kind of like, the kid that got off to an awful start and the guy that can't win this year. There's a story there that they can tell and hype this up. Yep. For the prize. So hopefully they do. Hopefully it's not just, an afterthought and we get to a checkered at Indianapolis and they're just like, oh yeah, Ty Gibbs.
Here's the other thing. None of the final 4 has a win this season.
Yep. 0 wins.
So even if they don't win a race in these next few races, somebody will have won something this year among these 4.
Well, I mean, the final 8 didn't have a win either.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Thanks, Atlanta.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anything else before we head on to Dover?
Nah, I'm ready. I got Dover on lock. Let's go.
Hell yeah. All right. Dover this weekend. Last year's winner was Denny Hamlin, I believe. Pull this up real quick. Denny Hamlin led 136 laps last year after starting 6th. He went into victory lane. This track's really good for Hendrick Motorsports. 2023, it was Truex after Byron led 193 laps, but Truex led 68. I think that was a Monday race. Yep, it was. Chastain's been really good here in the next-gen era. Alex Bowman's been really good here in the next-gen era. This has probably been his best track speed-wise in next-gen. I did hit Bowman top 10 today, plus 125. Could not pass that up. Dover's been good for Kyle Busch in the next-gen era. Just looking at average driver rating, he ranks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th best. 6th best if you include Truex, but obviously Truex isn't racing anymore. And And yeah, like I said, it's been a decent track for Buescher. Ty Gibbs has had finishes of 10th and 13th here over the last 2 years. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has a second place finish to his credit, 2022. He also finished 15th here in 2023. Top 10 in both stages here last year before finishing 35th. I don't remember what happened. I'll have to check iFantasy Race for that asterisk report. But sportsbooks pretty much all agree Denny Hamlin is the favorite this week. Kyle Larson's right there with him. Do you agree with that, Nick?
Yes. Larson and Hamlin 1, 2 in whatever order. I will not argue. So I'm pulling up my track quality stuff on my other computer. Yeah, my model has Hamlin 1, Larson 2. And I built a second model, one that's more Dover heavy, one that's more similar track heavy. And I don't actually think you know what the similar tracks are that it spit out. But it's a little interesting.
I know a lot of people go to Bristol and Nashville just because they're concrete. Are those on the list?
One of the two is.
Okay. Let me think here. Richmond? No. Damn it. I was just throwing out a random track. Okay, what else is it?
So number 1 is Nashville.
Yep.
So I took in the next gen era, so 2022, 2023, 2024. I took everybody's driver rating and everybody's average running position, and I compared it to everybody's driver rating and average running position at all the other tracks in the next gen era for non-drafting, non-dirt ovals. And number 1 comparison to Dover was Nashville. Number 2 and 3, neck and neck, were Charlotte and Kansas.
Really?
Yep. And funny enough, those 3 tracks were right next to each other on the schedule this year.
Yeah.
There was a 4 and 5 that I decided not to include, but a very clear 4 and 5 were Las Vegas, of course, makes sense with Kansas, and Pocono of all places.
Weird.
Yeah. So
we saw Ross Chastain win.
And Pocono is the reason I didn't include it. It's like Pocono and Dover make no sense together. But I definitely Nashville number 1 makes a lot of sense, and then Kansas and Charlotte makes sense, right? They're like intermediate. They have some banking. So It makes sense. It's maybe not like the best comps, but they were a tier ahead of everything else, which again was next. Vegas and Pocono, and then a tier ahead of everything else. That was kind of just like, can't really use them just other than just throwing them in a recent form.
So you know me, I like to look at sleepers, and one driver that has been decent in the next gen era here at Dover, Josh Berry, has finishes of 10th and 14th here. He finished 12th at Charlotte, 6th at Kansas. He won Las Vegas. Nashville, he
started, I believe, started second at Nashville, and then I think had things go wrong or something.
If you did bring in Bristol, he finished 12th at Bristol. So could be a Josh Berry week for potentially a top 10. I haven't really shopped around top 10 odds, but I could get on board with him.
I've already bet Josh Berry. I've already bet Josh. Yes. He's popping in my model. Popping bottles in my models. But he's not the biggest value I have.
Who's the biggest value?
By the way, if we want to continue with Josh Berry, finished second, first, and second at Dover in Xfinity. Mm-hmm. It's pretty good, huh?
Yeah, this is a good track with him, and that car has decent speed this year, especially on intermediates. Like, you know, we kind of have to rewire our brains for this last month and a half of racing and get back to earlier in the season with where those speeds were. And guys like Josh Berry, guys like Alex Bowman, remember, they were fast. Ryan Blaney, super fast on the intermediates this year. We kind of have to remember back to that stuff.
Yep, completely agree. And Josh Berry, if you look at my track quality metric, I know I'm talking kind of away from the microphone, so I apologize, but I'm looking at my other computer here. If you look at every driver's 8 most recent non-major incident Dover races, now Berry's only had 3, so take that with a grain of salt, but he would be 4th in track quality. And if you just do for the most recent 4, yeah, he drops to 6th, but you get the idea. He's in the top 4 or 6 in like track quality, and that's just at the Cup level. If you add in the Xfinity level, he pops all the way up to the top, basically. So completely agree with you on Josh Berry. I love him this weekend. Just kind of, I've already bet him, but I'm still waiting on like the full smorgasbord of odds and stuff to figure out what my favorite Josh Berry bet is. But I have bet him. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to ruin running hot either. But yes, I do like Josh Berry.
I have a feeling he's going to be your 36 for 36 pick.
I have a feeling you might be right.
What other mid-tier guys do you like this week?
The biggest value I have this week, I want you to guess it because it is a mid-tier driver.
Eric Jones.
No.
Nope. AJ Allmendinger.
No.
Fuck. Justin Haley.
No. That's not a mid-tier driver.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. Shit. Mid-tier. Kyle Busch.
No.
Ricky
Ryan
Stenhouse
Preece.
Jr.
Ryan
Preece.
Preece. Yeah.
Damn. I would. It took me a while. It would have taken me a while to get there.
Look at his Dover record in the Cup Series. With JTG Doherty, he finished 19th, 25th and 26th, whatever, but 18th. And then, let's see, 17th was Stuart Haas. He had a DNF. So it doesn't look amazing. It doesn't look amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But look at the similar tracks. Kansas and Charlotte, 7th and 9th. Last year at Nashville, 4th. Nashville, 16th, right? 17th with Dover. Stuart Haas is a step down from RFK right now. I know Brad has not had a good season, but he's had horrible luck more than anything. But like he finished 17th and 16th at Nashville and Dover in 2023. He finished 4th at Nashville in 2024. This is good for him. And then you go to the Xfinity series, right? Finished 4th at Dover in a JGR car, one of his better finishes there. It's just all like any model I do, whether I weigh it only Dover or I add in the comparable tracks, Preece is popping. And I can't get away from him.
RFK's been decently good here, at least in 2022 and 2023. They had really good speed. They kind of missed it last year in last year's race, but yeah, we've seen what RFK can do this year on intermediates, and it all makes sense.
3rd at Las Vegas, if you want to pull in the next, and 8th at Pocono, if you want to pull in the next 2. Dude, if you take the 4 most comparable tracks, he's finished 7th, 8th, 9th, and 3rd at them.
Yeah. Preece is sitting at, he's plus 200 for a top 10 on DraftKings.
Plus 260 at BetMGM.
For top 10?
Yep.
Oh, come on. What are we doing here?
Plus 250 at Caesars.
This app is so I hate MGM's app so bad.
80 to 1 to win. I have him fair odds of winning at 49 to 1 with one model. A little bit higher on another model. Again, depending on how much you weigh the similar
BetMGM
tracks.
app. The BetMGM app is the worst app I've ever used in my life. I hate this so much. You said plus 250 on Caesars?
Yeah.
Did you see they did a little update? They're using emojis and stuff in there.
Who?
Caesars.
I don't care about that.
It's just they're trying to lay it out a little bit better than what they typically had it. You know who has a low tier driver that has a good record at Dover?
Who?
Cold Custard.
That's what I was gonna say. I have value on him too.
Never finished worse than 15th at Dover.
Yeah. 10th and 11th, his first year was Stuart Haas at Dover. He's 16-1 for a top 10. I have him closer to my worst model has him at 14-1. I think my best model has him closer to 10-1 for a top 10. I haven't bet it though.
I'm scared too because of my bad luck.
Yeah. Yes, and Cole Custer really good at Dover in the Xfinity Series as well. Definitely, Stenhouse pops, but books know that with Stenhouse. They've adjusted his odds. Similar for Eric Jones. They've adjusted his odds. So there's no value there. Noah Gregson, very good at Dover, but he's been god-awful this year.
Mm-hmm.
So something to think about there.
What do we think about someone like a Ryan Blaney?
Ryan Blaney is third in my model.
Okay.
He is one of the favored drivers that I have value on. I don't hate betting him at plus money for a top 5.
All right, so you got Hamlin. Is it you got Hamlin, Larson, Blaney, 1, 2, 3, right?
Yep.
Let me see here. Chastain's another one that I'm keeping my eye on. He's been really good here in the next gen.
Yes.
Like you said, he won Charlotte.
If I do the Dover only version of my model, there's value on Ross Chastain. That's not really taken into account comp tracks, but if you just use Dover races, there's value on Ross Chastain. So like that's the thing. Like, how much do you weigh the comp tracks versus just Dover? Because if you do just Dover and then it just uses Dover track history and then current form, Ross Chastain is a value. But I thought it was funny when I used the Dover only or the Dover with the comp tracks version. Ryan Preece was basically the same and just constantly a value.
Yeah,
like Ryan Preece is my biggest value this week. Cole Custer, 750-1 to win is value according to my model. I have him 600 and wait, no, I was looking wrong. Cole Custer, I have to win. What the hell happened? Oh, I know what happened. Cole Custer, where are you? 734-1. So technically 750 is value.
Technically, we're hitting technicalities here. Yeah, I think there's good opportunity for several of these mid and low tier drivers to sneak in here. Someone like an Eric Jones also doesn't have a bad record here at Dover. I want to say he did decent at, he finished 7th at Nashville.
Yep. No, I mean, Eric
So-
Jones is good here. Ricky Stenhouse is good here. It's just, I think books have adjusted enough for those drivers. You know who everybody is on, or I've seen bets about or talked about? It's the same driver every week. It's Carson Osvar.
Yep.
My model doesn't love him. It doesn't love him. It doesn't hate him. It doesn't love him.
He's just so, like, I don't want to say unpredictable. That's probably the best word for it.
Yeah.
So sporadic. There we go. Let's go sporadic.
Yes, I agree with that. So I ranked my model based off of.
He finished 2nd at Nashville.
Yes, he did. That's the big popping point for him. He gets points on the comp tracks. But I ranked every driver on value on like a point system where they got a point if they popped in my Dover model, they popped in my comp model, and if they popped in like the aggregate of them. Cole Custer Ryan Preece was number 1. Blaney, Bell, Bowman, and Bubba were the next that popped in 2 of the 3. And then some of the other guys we mentioned popped in 1, like Barry, Cole Custer, but also Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, Noah Gragson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and that's about it. So it depends on how you weigh things with the comp tracks and not, and what specific odds you're looking at. But, there's some value here this weekend. It's just kind of deciphering it all, whatever the wording I'm trying to figure out is. Siphoning through.
Yeah, and kind of narrowing in on what you actually want to do with it. But
I think I've figured out what I want to do, right? Because I said Ryan Preece is like value everywhere for me. So I think I figured out what I want to do with him. And I think I said I bet Josh Berry. I've figured out what I want to do with him. So those are the only 2 bets I've made so far, Ryan Preece and Josh Berry. But I'm not going to say specific markets yet because I'm going to save that for running hot.
I'm curious to see, like I said, even some of these more top guys, like a Chase Elliott, he's 2nd in the points. I mean, he's great at Dover.
Yes, he is.
He has 2 wins here, top 5s in all but he's made 14 starts here. He only has finished outside the top 5 4 times. That's it.
In my Dover only model, he's value to win. Just the question is, at 12-1, right? Just the question is, how much does the Dover only model matter?
Mm-hmm.
How much do you pull in comp tracks?
Yeah, there's lots of ways to bet this, and I think this is going to also be a very fun week to make DFS lineups, assuming we don't have, the super ultra chalk like we tend to get every other week in DFS.
Remember, we're also further into the summer compared to where we normally race Dover, so it's going to be hotter and slicker, and that's going to allow for more passing, more lines to develop and things like that. So it's going to favor a little bit more talent as well, I think.
Also, we have a brand new tire this week.
Yep.
Pulling that up here quick. It's designed specifically for Dover.
Yeah. Makes it a little harder to handicap, but I think this is still a track a track where that
Dover's-
matters with track history.
Yeah, Dover's still one of those tracks where the people that are good at Dover are probably going to stay good at Dover. Outside of, I think this was the race that one year that wasn't Larson going to beat the shit out of everybody, and then he ran into the back of some back marker and killed his day.
Yep. You know, this is really good here. Daniel Suarez.
No,
what?
I'm not giving him any credit.
He is good here, though.
Yep. Surprisingly, he hasn't had a great finish or run since joining Trackhouse in the next gen. But yeah, before the next gen, he was really good here. And whether that's
9th is not a good finish at Trackhouse. That was his best finish of the year, and other than Bristol Dirt that year.
That was before next gen.
I don't care. That's still a good finish with Trackhouse. 14th the next year after that was in the top half of his finishes for sure. Then he had a DNF. Then he finished 18th last year, and he was barely an 18th place car last year. Like, just in the season. Like, this is a good track for him. He won an Xfinity here.
He did finish third here in 2018.
Yeah, with JGR. This is a good track for him.
I'm waiting for speaking of Trackhouse, I'm waiting for the first headline of, can SVG make it 3 in a row?
Oh, God.
But I am curious to see what he does.
Daniel Suarez is plus 750 for a top 10.
See, I still don't think I'd bet that.
What do I have? I have 14.5%. So, yeah, that's value at plus 750.
I'm still waiting for. I'm hoping that FanDuel drops their.
My similar track model has 14.4%. My Dover only model has 15.2%. So no matter how you slice it, there's value on Daniel Suarez plus 750 top 10.
Any outrights out there that you're showing decent value on?
Ryan Preece.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to show value on every Ryan Preece bet, but I have not bet Ryan Preece's outright. I'll just say that. Let me pull this. So it depends on the model, but if I use the similar track model, I have value on Denny Hamlin at 5-1. If I use the Dover only model, well, I should say if I use a similar track model, I also have value on Blaney and Christopher Bell. If I use the Dover only model, I have value on Elliott, Chastain, and Bowman.
I was gonna ask you about Bowman. That's who I picked up.
And Logano and Priestberry, Kyle Busch. And then again, the Dover only model, or the similar track model, Bubba, actually. And then Cole Custer, Noah Gragson, Ricky Stenhouse on the Dover only model.
Yeah, Bubba's sitting there 65-1 on DraftKings.
Mm-hmm. But Christopher Bell 14-1 at Circa is kind of calling my name. He's 12-1 best anywhere else, but at Circa he's 14. And I have Christopher Bell 9-ish% to win on the aggregate model, 10-ish% on the similar tracks model, but just 4.2% on the Dover only model. So that's the kind of the hesitation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, where do you balance track history with similar tracks and other things like that?
One lap led for Christopher Bell in 6 starts.
I know. But
he's also never qualified well here. So that only time he led a lap was when he qualified or started second.
Yep. but has won the Xfinity Series. I
just feel like that team is off right now.
He
And
finished
maybe
sixth and fourth at Dover, not last year, but the year before that and the year before that. So like he's had good finishes, borderline top 5 car in 2 of the last 3 races at Dover.
Second at Kansas. After Larson just beat the shit out of everybody in that race.
Yep. I mean, and he's always been good at Kansas, right? And he led the most laps at Charlotte last year. You know, I mean, he led the most laps at Nashville last year. People forget that.
Yeah, that's valid. Yep.
So that's where like the similar track model he pops, but the Dover model itself, it's not quite as good, but he still finished 6th and 4th. The last 2 finishes he had here that weren't, you know, major incidents.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't hate Christopher Bell at 12 or 14 to 1. I haven't bet it, but I don't hate it.
Let's say, would you rather if you had to pick between that and Chase Elliott at 14 to 1, which would you take? I think I'd take Elliott. That's just me though.
But that's the Dover only model. I would take Elliott.
Yeah.
If you take the similar track model, it's pretty clearly Christopher Bell. 10%, 10.3% to, or 10.4% to 6.3%. But if you aggregate them, it's like 9% to 7% Bell versus Elliott. So, and I aggregated it to minimize the discrepancy between betting odds and my model, right? So I was trying to not show value. Like, how can I show the least amount of value? And Christopher Bell is value in that case, and Chase Elliott isn't. So, but you know, different people weigh things differently. If you weigh track history more, you would go with Chase Elliott. If you weigh similar tracks more, you'd go with Christopher Bell. Or overall performance, you know, you go with Christopher Bell.
Right.
Or upside, right? You go with Christopher Bell. Chase Elliott does not have the upside of Christopher Bell. Just
better
in general,
crew chief,
like in
Christopher
general.
Bell.
Yeah, better team in terms of like overall team, not like Hendrick Motorsports versus JGR, but like pit stops and strategy and things like that.
Yep. All right. Anything else for Dover for you before we get to our picks?
I don't think so. I think we talked about a whole lot of Dover.
Yeah, we did. All right. Oh shit, where's my picks to win? Let's start with 36 for 36. So this is going to be an interesting one. Josh Berry. Yeah, that's an easy one for you.
Yep. I was thinking of like saving him for Martinsville and stuff, but I still have Blaney left. I can save Blaney for Martinsville.
Yep. You know, that's a solid choice, Josh Berry there. I wish I still had him. I would be picking him as well, but I don't. Update after last week, I had McDowell, who got me 33 points. You had Chase Elliott, who got you 35. So you gained 2 points on me.
Yeah, but you gained on the versus expectation. You gained 13 points versus expectation. I gained 2.3 versus expectation. So you have a 34-point lead overall, but now a 32.5-point lead versus expectation. So still, you've picked slightly better drivers than me, but you definitely, you know, kind of, while the gap closed, it also kind of widened.
Yeah, in a weird way. Yeah. So I have a driver in mind. And man, I don't want to do this. So coming into this, I had Justin Haley penciled in for my 36 for 36. And here's the thing. I got to start using some of these low to mid tier guys. Justin Haley finished 23rd last year with Rick Ware. He has an 11th place finish here. At Bristol, he finished 13th. He was legitimate top 5 at Bristol. And then at Nashville, he qualified 18th, which and I don't know what happened to him. He finished 32nd. But I feel like I need to use him somewhere. And I'm probably going to regret this, but I'm going Justin Haley, 36 for 36. Not my favorite pick of the year, but I'm Leroy Jenkinsing this one, and I'm going in. Justin Haley, 36 for 36.
There you go. Justin Haley it is.
Like I said, I don't feel good about it, but if I can he's averaging what? 15 points right now, 16 points.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me a top 20 finish and I'll be happy. Be very happy.
Well, that's the thing. Josh Berry's averaging 19.5 points. So just give me 20, 25. I'm happy.
Yeah. All right. So I have Justin Haley. You have Josh Berry for 36 for 36. Moving on to picks to win. You got your 4th win of the year. So you're hitting a 25% pick to win rate on Wednesday before the races this year. SVG in Victory Lane. I had McDowell.
20%. 20%.
Yeah. Wow. My math was way off there, wasn't it? I had McDowell. 4th place finish for him. Who's your pick? Excuse me. Who's your pick for Dover?
I'd go a little off the map here.
I was thinking about doing the same thing. So
I just like Denny Hamlin is the defending winner, but it's hard to win the Cup Series. Larson's form right now has been a little weird, just overall. I don't feel great about Blaney, even though I don't feel bad about him. Again, Bell's popping in my model, but like his Dover hasn't been so good. Byron, I'm not showing value on. Elliott, like I don't love his upside, but I love him here. I think the guy that has all the ingredients of upside and track history is Ross Chastain. So I'm gonna go Ross Chastain.
Ooh. Won at Charlotte this year after starting dead last.
Really good at Nashville.
Really good at Nashville. Really good here at Dover in the next gen. So
yep.
I was thinking him as well. So yeah, solid point.
He's actually won at the best comparable tracks: Charlotte, Kansas, and Nashville.
Yep.
It's time to win at Dover.
I agree. I too am gonna go against the favorites. I think Denny Hamlin's gonna win this thing. Just like a gut feeling.
He should be the favorite. Yeah. My model, I agree with my model. He's the favorite.
And I think Blaney's gonna be up there, and I'd like to pick Blaney, but I'm not gonna put that jinx on those two.
You going Bowman?
I want
Are you going Bowman?
How'd you know?
Because he was the next in my model. I was like considering.
Yep. Alex
choosing
Bowman.
between him and Ross.
Alex Bowman's going to lock himself into playoffs this week. I also, if this new tire falls off, I like Bowman with tire wear.
Yes.
So give me Alex Bowman.
Absolutely, completely agree. But I like Bowman with tire wear, but I also like if there's going to be fall off and more in the driver's hands. That's why I like Ross Chastain, because he's a driver.
Yep. He's a wheelman.
No, he's not. He's a driver.
But yeah, give me Alex Bowman to win this thing.
And that's the thing. That's where I don't love Priest as much. But I like Barry more, right? Like if you talk about who's a driver, like I feel like Barry's a little more like upside and Priest is more safe. Similarly, like I like Stenhouse's upside this week and Eric Jones's upside this week and Gregson's upside this week. And I actually like Cole Custer less, even though I'm showing value on him.
One thing about Josh Berry is I think we need to talk about how he's not afraid to pay anyone back. We saw it.
Yeah.
He dumped Eric Jones after Jones tagged him at Chicago Street Course.
Mm-hmm.
So Josh Berry's not a guy to fuck with.
Yeah. Although I will say Cole Custer's really good at like the high tire wear, like Darlington, that kind of stuff. Homestead. So, I mean, this could be a Cole Custer week. I don't know, man. This is going to be fun. I'm excited. I think there's going to be at least one of like Gregson, Jones, Stenhouse, Custer, Barry, Priest is going to have a really strong day. It's just which one.
Yeah. Gregson was my second choice for 36 for 36.
Yep. Makes sense.
Behind. I ended up with Haley, but yeah.
But if you get a lot of like the fall off, the wear, you having to move around, like that favors a Larson over a Hamlin a little bit. A little bit.
Yeah. All right. DraftKings picks. You got another win last week. Get to sharing my screen here. Larson, the highest price this week. Hamlin, Blaney, Byron, Bell, Elliott. Kind of what we expected. There is some decent value in this lower to mid range here, which I have a feeling you're gonna enjoy. Someone like a Josh Berry at 6,800. But who you got on DraftKings this week? Last week, you won. You added 50 points to your lead. Well, just under 50 points. 182.2 for you, 132.4 for me. That's 3 wins in a row for you. 7 of the last 8. So I feel like this represents our betting streaks right now as well.
Yeah.
Like you're winning everything. I'm scraping by maybe 1 week at a time. But overall season, you now are up 220 points, 217.45 on me for the season. 11 wins to my 8. Who you got this week? How you building this pre-practice qualifying lineup?
Josh Berry.
There we go.
I like the upside.
The only issue would be if he qualifies up front. That's where it's going to be like,
Yeah.
But
there's not a lot you can do about that. Like handicapping qualifying this week is pretty much impossible.
Yep.
Give me Noah Gregson.
Ooh.
Targeting some upside here. Actually, take Gregson off the board. Give me Cole Custer.
I knew you were going to go there.
Well, I had him anyway. The taking Gregson off the board is for later. Okay. Cole Custer, the Gregson thing doesn't affect Cole Custer. Give me Ross Chastain. Give me Hamlin and Larson.
Hamlin and Larson going both heavy hitters.
So now it's between Suarez or Gregson. That's what I'm talking about. Now I have to think about qualifying here with Suarez and Gregson. So I might need to do a little looking up qualifying for these two drivers and adjusting for team. Daniel Suarez, Noah Gregson, track, Dover. Suarez started 31st. Gregson started 5th here last year. The year before that, 33 for Gregson, 15 for Suarez. Yeah, it's a true coin flip. I don't know. 46, 40, 38.
If you need a coin, I got one and I'll flip it.
Yeah, I might just random.org this. Well, you have a coin, so just flip it. Heads is Suarez, tails is Gregson.
It is heads.
All right, Suarez it is.
There we go. All right, so you're going Hamlin, Larson, Chastain, 3 heavy hitters, and then the upside of Daniel Suarez, Josh Berry, and Cole Custer. For your final answer?
Yeah, I don't love it, but I there's a lot of builds this week that you could do.
Oh yeah, there's so many ways to go. I'm gonna have so
Like,
much fun.
You're gonna have Bowman in there, I feel like, which is an interesting way to go in the mid-tier type thing. But like I said, the way Larson's form has been, it's tough to pick him. So like a mid-tier build kind of makes sense.
I
know you like Jones.
Yeah. I'm starting off just like you with Custer and Barry. I'm going to play around with this. I was playing around with it a little bit earlier, but I'm going to throw Priest on there for now. I'm going to go Hamlin Blaney instead of Larson. I'm $100 off from getting Chastain. That's tough. All right, let me think here. I'm also $100 off if I went Byron instead of Hamlin, then I could almost get Chase Elliott.
Yeah.
Man.
You can still do Ross though then at that point.
That's true. Oh, this is tough.
Right?
There's so many ways to go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what do I want to do? All right, give me Chase. No, I don't want to do that.
Chase Ross Larson. Ooh.
Larson, Blaney, Bowman, Barry, Priest, Custer. I think. Man, this
is tough. So ridiculous.
Yeah, this is tough. Actually, I'm going to go Blaney, Byron, Ross.
Wow.
I think.
Not Blaney. Hamlin, Byron, Ross.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Man, this is tough. This sucks. I don't like this.
Hold on. What if you drop from Hamlin to Blaney? I'm just thinking. Add in Chase Elliott or whatever again. Oh, no, never mind. Do Ross and Chase Elliott. I want to see something. I just want to see something from your end. You have 900. You could go up from Custer to Gregson if you wanted.
I think I want Custer this week, though.
Okay. Yeah. I was just looking to see what options.
Yeah. All right. I'm going Hamlin, Blaney. Fuck it. I'm doing this. Get away from Josh Berry so I don't jinx him for you.
Whoa.
I'm going to go Hamlin, Blaney, Logano, Hocevar, Priest, Custer.
Whoa. Yeah, I don't hate it at all.
Fuck it. We'll do it live. In.
There we go.
Ooh,
Locked
that
in.
was the. There we go. All right.
Didn't even take your pick to win.
I know. Because I don't see him dominating. Like if he wins, I feel like he's going to steal it.
If he wins, he's still in the optimal lineup.
That's true. That's valid. At 8,800, absolutely. That's true. Well, but also my pick to win has been so jinxed this year. So
yeah,
maybe it's a good thing to stay away.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. Anything else for you for Dover?
No, I think we're good. I feel opinionated about Dover, but I also feel like it's it's just based off betting value because your Larsons, your Hamlins, your Blaney's, all those guys that I've talked about are still going to be good. Your Byrons, etc. Mm-hmm. They're all still going to be good.
Absolutely. We'll see if Larson can bounce back. He hasn't. I think I saw a tweet thread basically showing how he hasn't been the same since attempting the double. So
that's a good point.
We'll see if that continues this week or if he gets back, and he's so good at Dover. You can never count out Kyle Larson at this racetrack. So, all right. Enjoy the race this week. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week to talk about Indy, Brickyard 400, and the conclusion of the in-season tournament as we get closer and closer to these playoffs starting.
You know what it is? Hold up. You know what it is? It's just the fucking Hendrick mid-season summer slump.
Yeah.
What has Byron done since the same time? I mean, he dominated Charlotte, but after that, he's been pretty mediocre. Chase Elliott, yeah, he won, but it was Atlanta, right? Atlanta's Atlanta. He's been fine.
Yeah, now see, and
Bowman
that'll be
went
something.
Through a slump.
Will we see them bounce back because Hendrick is so good at Dover?
Yeah. Hendrick is amazing at Dover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is, arguably Alex Bowman's best track.
Yeah, absolutely. It's up there with his best tracks.
5 top 5s the last 7 races here, and then an 8th and a 21st to go along with that. So Bowman is solid here.
Yes.
All right. Anything else from me? He's also been, if you remember back to the intermediates like Vegas earlier this year, Bowman had a rocket in that race. Blaney had really good long run speed, but Bowman was right up there. I think he had a pit penalty or something.
Mm-hmm.
He's been solid on the intermediates this year. So.
Oh, yeah.
All right. We'll let you guys go. Enjoy the race this weekend. We'll be back next week. See you guys.